Microsoft Gold Partner and an Ed LSP, and have been for many years. And we're also partnered with many hardware vendors, including Yealink, Smart, Promethean, Logitech, and Jabra. So we've been in business 41 years now, and in that time we've grown expertise in software licensing, hardware solutions, and professional services, including complete solution packages then, which is where we tend to see our customers get the maximum value then. So we work a lot with charities and voluntary organisations across Wales and the whole of the UK. And we've been recently supporting many of our customers on their digital transformations. In particular, we're seeing a big push in adoption of modern workplace solutions. And these can include sort of hybrid working solutions and sustainable modern hybrid meeting spaces then, as we're about to see today. And in particular, we've been working a lot with sort of community hall projects recently, and with community councils as well, to help them install these solutions to run hybrid meetings and various other community events then. So what are sustainable modern hybrid meeting spaces? So they can take many forms, really. There's no sort of hard and fast rules. They could be meeting rooms, community halls, large boardrooms, or even just sort of huddle spaces and collaboration pods. So typically you'd have your one-touch join consoles for joining meetings sort of with maximum efficiency. So the one-touch join straight in. And you'd have your interactive boards as well, so you can display remote attendees. You can bring sort of everyone together into one high quality experience. And you can also display presentations and videos and things like that as well, and even use the digital whiteboard to collaborate. So, you can brainstorm and work on sketches and designs and everything in real time then. And of course, you got your camera, speaker, and microphones then, just to make sure everybody is seen and heard clearly. And there are many options for these devices. So Elved will be going through a couple later just to give you some examples. But it really depends on your particular needs. So, the type of room or space you've got, the size of the room, the number of people, and also what sort of events you want to be running then as well. So like I said, we don't do out-of-the-box solutions. Everyone's needs will be different. So we work with you to gather your exact requirements then and develop a tailored solution for you. And as you can see on the slide there, we do provide trial units and live demos. We provide installation, training, and technical support then as well to support you along the way. So, like I said, although there's no set out-the-box solutions, just to give some examples of what they could potentially look like. A lot of companies now are going down the sort of huddle space or collaboration pod route. So this really makes the most out of your office space. You get a lot more out of your space. People might be coming into the office to do meetings, etc., and collaborate, and then doing their day-to-day tasks at home then in a hybrid working setup. And these are the kind of setups as well for personal desks and smaller meeting rooms. So you've got, again, your camera, speaker, and microphone. The Teams console there you can see, which is the touch panel for one-touch join. And that means you can just turn up on time, tap the meeting, and you're straight in. So there's no need to hook up laptops and mess around with cables and things like that. It really does save a lot of time and helps you become, much more efficient. Even saving sort of half an hour a day on setting up the equipment throughout the day and logging in and things like that. It does all add up. So up to sort of slightly larger rooms then, so more like your standard meeting rooms, maybe up to sort of 10 to 12 people, or sort of mid-sized halls or something like that. So you've got your camera there to capture everyone in shot. So even if you've got long desks, everyone can be in the shot at once. And a sort of soundbar speaker then to ensure the audio reaches the entire room if it is a slightly larger room. And you can see a couple of microphones to ensure everybody's heard as well. And with the screens, then you can even upgrade to a larger screen. If you've got sort of a community hall or something like that, you can upgrade to a larger screen to ensure everybody can see everything in a hybrid meeting, then even from the back. And even up to these sort of large rooms, such as this example here, you can have your dual cameras to ensure everybody's seen. You've got multiple microphones. You can also have several screens as well, so just to make sure everybody can see what's going on in the hall or the boardroom. You can have remote participants showing, like I said, or share reports or videos or presentations and things like that. And again, you can collaborate on these interactive boards as well, and come up with designs in real time using the touch-enabled screens. So this is sort of the other end of the meeting, really. So we're talking about meeting spaces and hybrid meetings. So this, is how you're connecting into the meeting space when you're remote. So that can be whether you're at home, in other locations, or even if you're on the go as well. So you've got your Microsoft Surfaces, which is a great place to start. So, they're portable, they're powerful, they've got all the built-in devices. You've got your built-in camera, speaker, and microphone. And you can take that anywhere you want then. So it really does offer, more flexibility. And you've got your headsets as well. So, these are very useful in noisy environments. If you're sort of on public transport, on trains or something like that, or in a busy household, the noise cancelling features then can really make sure you get your speech across clearly then. And that really makes a big difference. I think the audio to your engagement within a hybrid meeting. So, it's critical to hear what's going on and for everyone to hear you as well. And just quickly then, we've got the Teams handsets. So these, if some people prefer physical desk phones for work, whether that's in the office or at home, they do provide another option then, and you can even dial into hybrid meetings using these devices then. So it's just about equipping your employees, your trustees and volunteers really with the right tools to be able to connect and engage with hybrid meetings and stay productive then, no matter where they are. And a key tool underpinning all of these solutions is Microsoft Teams. So you can use that to chat, meet, call, and collaborate. So Teams really does provide that sort of centralized hub for collaboration and productivity then. And a big advantage with Teams is, it's easy to use, it's easy to adopt, and it provides that sort of consistent interface and user experience across all versions. So whether it's on desktops, tablets, the web version, and even the mobile app and the Teams Room solutions then as well. So why would you adopt a sustainable modern hybrid meeting space? There are several benefits. So we'll take a look at sort of 4 key areas in turn here. So the first one is efficiency. Like I said earlier, with a one-touch join, you can see the console there on screen. So that's your interface. It really is just a one tap and you're straight into the meeting. And that moves away from your sort of dated equipment then, such as maybe projectors, waiting for them to boot up and plugging in laptops and things like that, like you might have had in some of the sort of more old-fashioned meeting rooms then. And like I said, the time saved in having to set up all those equipment each time, it really does add up. And to go with the one-touch console, we also supply the room panel. So these will go onto the wall outside the meeting room and they'll show the availability in real time. So if you've got a meeting space that hasn't got any windows or you can't see in, you'll know straight away if there's someone in the room, if it's in use or if it's free. So that just takes away that risk of sort of interrupting a meeting that's going on then. And of course, that's on top of the sort of initial room availability you get within Teams and Outlook when you're arranging the meeting in the first place then. So there's other efficiency benefits. I mean, time saved in traveling, that's a major one, whether you're, taking long haul flights or even just driving sort of across the country. This time isn't very productive. So, the time saved in traveling, you can just go straight into the meeting with these devices then. And the recording and transcription features as well. So, either just one click and you can turn them on, or you can even have them on automatic as soon as you start the meeting. So you could be in a meeting and instead of having to, take down notes and maybe miss half of what's being said, you can just record the meeting and watch it back anytime then. So you could just focus on what's actually happening in the meeting instead of sort of taking down notes. And the meeting room systems are very low maintenance. So, I mean, at Pew, we're here to offer our expertise so that, you don't have to worry about the technical side of things. So once everything's set up, you can literally just tap and go, and people can use skills they've already developed as well. So with people working from home, we know a lot of people have been using Teams already. So it's less of a learning curve. There's less training needed, and you can take advantage of those skills learned and sort of build upon them then. So collaboration is probably one of the most key aspects of these kind of solutions. So the hardware is getting better and better all the time, and obviously the higher quality hardware means the higher quality meeting experience then as well. So we've got a growing range of team certified devices, which we'll go through with Elved. We'll touch on Yealink devices as well as some smart and Promethean boards. And we've also got devices from Jabra, Poly, Logitech, all the leading technology vendors then. And we're seeing sort of more and more integrated AI and smart features. And like I said, you don't have to worry about the technical side. It's with the smart cameras, they'll automatically adjust to who's there, so you don't really have to do anything there. If someone comes and joins late, it'll automatically adjust the view to include them. And also, if someone leaves, it'll automatically adjust to fit on who remains then in the meeting. And you've also got your ultra wide lenses, so that's been really good for social distancing actually over the last few years because it covers a large area, so we can have a 180-degree span then. But I mean, even now moving forward, there's so many benefits. I mean, you can really get more out of your meeting space using these devices. So you're typically seeing smaller, more compact spaces then, and you're still able to get everyone in shot. And the microphones are similar, so they can automatically focus on who's talking to make sure everyone's heard over background noise. And you've got your laptops and surfaces to connect into these meetings, so these all contribute then to a good experience and a good hybrid working model. And they let you meet people across the world easily. So whether internal or external participants, it's really about engaging in a way that maybe would either have been impossible without them or at least very costly and time consuming then. So like I said earlier, we're seeing sort of community centres install them. So we're doing a lot with community centres at the moment, and it's really allowing community groups, various groups to come in and connect with similar community groups across the country. So we've seen sort of young farmers clubs and community councils as well. They're all making good use of them. It really does improve that sort of collaboration and allows people to and different groups of people to bounce off each other, bounce ideas and things like that then, rather than just working in isolation. And we've got the interactive screens. So like I said, making sure everyone in a large room or hall can see what's going on. So you can have participants showing remotely, you can share reports and presentations and collaborate on the digital whiteboard in real time. And in a hybrid setting, then you can even have sort of people people contributing remotely on the whiteboard, plus people coming up in a hall, for example, and sketching directly on the screen then, and all those ideas and contributions come together onto that one page. And as well as whiteboarding, you can co-author documents together in real time, so you can see exactly what's going on in that one document, who's making changes, who's adding things, who's making notes, so that that all appears in real time. So instead of drafting documents and sending them off for changes and things like that, you can have that one version in one place, and it makes it a lot more manageable. And because different people working on different versions can get complex very fast then, so you're just avoiding those sort of accidents that can happen when there's different versions and merging them and things like that. And within a Teams meeting then, all these documents are kept within the meeting history, so that means you can easily go back and find the files you need from a meeting, and also the conversations and the chats you had around those documents will all stay in one place then as well. And sustainability is a big one now. So it's these meeting room solutions are better for the environment. So you can reduce your travel and drastically reduce your carbon footprint using these. So you can collaborate with people across the world without needing to travel then, which is something at Peer we do regularly, for example, with Yealink in China. So that really helps. And as well as the time savings, you've got your massive savings on transport costs as well. So as we know, prices are going up and up, especially the price of fuel. So this can really benefit with cost savings as well. And of course, these with the high quality devices and solutions we're seeing, all this is done without compromising on the quality of the meetings then. So you're not missing out, you're really still engaging with people on the other end, and everyone's working together. And so with Teams and also other Microsoft technologies, there are even greater environmental benefits. So for example, with Microsoft now, they're committed to shifting 100% of the energy used in their data centers for cloud hosting to renewable energy, so 100% by 2025. And they also aim to become fully carbon negative by 2030 then. So, adopting these solutions, even the smallest organizations and charities can really help contribute towards making a massive environmental difference then, and helping to play a part in a greener future. And finally, it's sustainable in terms of future-proofing yourselves as well. So, you've got the latest, most innovative technology here. So, you'll be set up for many years, no matter what sort of unexpected events might come again. So although we've seen a big rise in online and hybrid meetings recently, things aren't likely to go back really. There's too many benefits as we're seeing here. And in terms of flexibility, these allow your users to work from anywhere and still collaborate with each other and external users. So nowadays, you've got people working from home. Some might have returned to the office. Some might be doing a bit of both, or even some might just be always on the go. So these meeting spaces allow you to run hybrid meetings and bring everybody together seamlessly, no matter where they're based. And that really does contribute to a better work-life balance for your team then as well. So they don't need to be tied down to a particular place. It can work around them then and their sort of routines. And as an example of the sort of flexibility it offers, like I said, recently we installed a meeting space solution in a renovated church, which is now being used as a community hall. So they're seeing community groups such as YFC and Merched y Wawr and things like that meet regularly with groups across the country. And they're even using their interactive board to run events such as cinema nights and things like that for local residents. So, it's more of a community gain then. And community councils as well. We're seeing many of these install our solutions as the need to offer hybrid meeting facilities becomes a requirement. And as mentioned, the meeting space can be anything really. It can be a community hall, a meeting room, conference room, boardroom. Any space can be transformed really. And you know, it means these interactive boards can be wall mounted or they can be on trolleys. You know, they're height adjustable. They don't have to be tied to one place, which is good for security as well. So, you know, you can wheel them into a safe locked area when not in use. Or you can just, you know, wheel them into a different room or a different area if you want to move them elsewhere then as well. So, you know, the main point really is, where you happen to be at the time no longer needs to decide whether or not you can be involved in these, you know, important community council meetings, for example. You can be involved and not just involved, but really be engaged and part of the discussions going on. You know, it's all about engagement with teams, you know, being able to see each other. You know, it's easy to underestimate the power of things like facial expressions and hand gestures and eye contact and body language as well when in a meeting. And these things you simply don't capture without these high quality cameras and screens. And, you know, gofod3 is a great example of maybe people being able to attend and get involved here today that may not have been able to otherwise. So with that, I'd like to bring in Elved, who is just going to show us some of the technologies we use to build these sustainable modern hybrid meeting spaces, and a quick video to sort of showcase some of these devices. So over to you, Elved.
Good afternoon, everyone. Yeah, my name's Elved. I've been working here with Pew for the last 16 years, so I've got hopefully I've got plenty of experience in helping our customers kind of design their meeting rooms. And Mark mentioned there about the one touch to join, and I think that's a great place to start, really. What does that mean and how easy is it? And I think that the easiest way of me to explain that is to show you a quick video. And let's have a look. Okay, so hopefully you can all see my my screen on the video.
Yeah, that's shown.
So you typically invite the room as part of your meeting. So you'd simply enter the email address of the room. Once that invite is gone, it'll automatically accept it. And all you have to do then is on the day of the meeting, you just simply walk into the room. It's got sensors on it, so it'll automatically turn itself on. And it'll show there on the screen that there's a meeting and there's a button there to join. And that's all you have to do then is tap on that join button, and it'll turn on the camera, the microphone, and the speakers all for you. So it's as simple as that. And once you joined, you've got your touchscreen panel then that will turn the volume up and down. You've got things like gesture, and you've got your mute button, so you can easily mute yourself and unmute yourself. You can turn the camera on and off. And you've got settings where you can zoom your camera in and out. It's as simple as that. So it's very, very easy to use. And you can easily share your screen. So you've got if you bring your own laptop and you want to share the content of your laptop, you can easily share your screen by simply plugging in a single cable, and it will share that screen. You can also have a wireless. There's a wireless option as well. So you've got somebody further from the screen, then you can easily share your content using a wireless presentation pod as well. And you can end the meeting quite easily by clicking on the red button there. And it is as simple as that. So this device, you can have it either as a Teams device, or you can have it as a Zoom device. So it depends really which one you'd prefer. But if you're using other meeting solutions such as WebEx, then maybe another option for you would be the bring your own device solution. Yealink also have a meeting board now, which is an all-in-one solution that can be used as well. So I mentioned there about the cameras. So there's three components really of that you need to consider, which is the camera and the microphone and the speaker. So the camera, so my job here at Pew is really to match up your room with the best solution. So no two rooms are the same really. You could have different size rooms, different layouts. They could be multi-purpose rooms. So one day it could be maybe a gym or something, or not necessarily a gym, but like it could be a variety of uses in that room. So it's important really that you can maybe use a trolley there instead, possibly. So yeah, so in regards to the camera, you've got different types of camera. So you've got 120 degrees field of view, which is like a wide aspect camera. You've got pan, tilt, and zoom cameras, and they would come with a 12 times optical zoom. So that would mean that the camera quality would be the same when it's zoomed in. You can get 4K cameras, and you've got different technology within those cameras. So you've got artificial intelligence within there, which would help you with the auto framing and speaker tracking as well. Moving on to the microphones, you've got you can get wired microphones that would sit on a desk. So this would be ideal for fixed rooms. So they'd be like a boardroom possibly. But if you're going back to that kind of multi-purpose room, might want to consider wireless desk microphones, or even ceiling microphones. So they would basically be hanging off the ceiling, and they would cover usually about 40 square meters. So one microphone is quite generous. But we can also they can also pair up with third-party microphones. So if you're using lapel microphones, which are the ones you clip onto your clothing, or fixed microphones possibly for lecterns, that's also an option for you. The microphones as well, they use artificial intelligence technology as well, so they can reduce background noise, and they've got echo cancelling technology in there as well. The speakers, they come in a variety of forms, and you can get for smaller rooms you might just want a single microphone, and that you can put up to 8 speakers in a room, but you can also use the RCA out, which would mean if you already have speakers in that room already, then it means that we can use the speakers that you already have. So going on to the screens, what we've noticed with our customers is that projectors are a thing of the past, really, where they're slow to start up, and it takes time for that bulb to warm up. And if the lighting of the room is bad, then it means that the quality of the screen isn't very good. So what we've seen with most of our customers is that a flat screen or a large interactive screen tends to be a better solution. You can have 2 screens, 2-screen mode. So it means that one screen you can see the video of the people on the other side of the meeting, or you can, or on the other side you can have the presentation slides. or you can even have duplicate screens. So if you've got really large rooms, then it means you can have more screens towards the back, and that would duplicate exactly what you're seeing on front of the screen, front of the room. The interactive screens, we've noticed that they're very popular because they are so easy to use. They vary from a kind of 40-inch screen to all the way up to a 100-inch screen, and we see that they are popular because of the way you can collaborate and brainstorm with people on both sides. So if you're in the meeting physically, or if you're working or joining that meeting remotely, you basically get the same experience as if you were physically at the meeting. There's a lot of different ways for you to mount those screens. So you can have a static wall mount, a swing away wall mount. You can have a height adjustable wall mount, which is recommended for interactive screens because if you've got somebody maybe shorter or tall or possibly in a wheelchair, it means that anyone can use those screens. You can also have trolleys, which is ideal for scenarios where maybe the device is kind of shared between several rooms, or if you want to put it into into a room for safekeeping, maybe if you had maybe the YFC coming into that room, you'd want to have it in a safe place just in case it got accidentally got damaged. And you can have those trolleys. They can be height adjustable as well. Finally, there's a Teams panel. So basically it goes outside the room. So that just tells you, so if you've got a meeting room that maybe hasn't got any windows or glass in there, so you can't see in, the Teams room panel will tell you if somebody's in the room by indicating with a bright red light. And if it's free, it will have the it'll be green. You can also with that panel, you can also book a meeting schedule a meeting for future there as well. Mark, would you mind sharing the slides for me, please?
Yeah, sure. Just take the spotlight off.
Yeah, so just on those slides, I just want to go through the different options that's there. So we've, like Mark mentioned, that we've partnered up with Yealink as well as other vendors. But there's a variety of devices out there. So my job really is to make sure that you're getting the best solution for your environment. So based on the size of the room and the technology that you want to be using within that room. So it could be if it's a Teams room, a dedicated Teams room, or a Zoom room possibly, or bring your own device. Then that's my job then to make sure that you're getting the correct solution for your environment. So if you've got any kind of inquiries or questions there, please let me know, and I'll be more than happy to advise you on the hardware that's needed. And that goes for the next slide as well, Mark. It's so with the interactive screens as well, so we can make sure that the screen that you're interested in is the correct screen for you, based on the size, the technology of the touch display. So if that's it could be infrared, and we can get the correct wall mounts or the correct trolley for you, and we can definitely recommend you for the right solution on that. And that's all I've got to cover. But like I said, any questions you've got, please don't hesitate to ask, and I'll be more than happy to guide you on that. I have the pleasure of introducing you to Rhodri now. Rhodri Jones, the head of digital services at the WCVA. I understand you'll be discussing the adoption of the sustainable modern hybrid meeting space. So over to you, Rhodri. Diolch yn fawr.
Diolch, Albert. Well, good afternoon, everybody, once again. As they said in the presentation, we've had WCVA have had a long relationship with Pew Computers, which is quite nice because I live in Aberaeron, and Pew Computers, its head office is in Llanon, which is just up the road, really. So it's quite handy. So I've just been asked to talk about, our meeting spaces at WCVA and, how hybrid working, how we've been dealing with that, really. So first of all, I want to turn the clock back a bit. I want to go back to 2019. Does everybody remember 2019? It was pre-pandemic, before anybody had heard of COVID and stuff. So back in 2019, WCVA had moved to Office 365, but was still very dependent on on-site servers and infrastructure at our headquarters in Cardiff. We had video conferencing, but it was only in one room on each site. So basically, if you wanted a video, have a video call with another office, you had to book a room, etc., etc. And the setup of the office was very traditional as well. Staff members had, a desk, computer, and a telephone. At that time, we updated our digital services strategy to prioritize, and transforming the way the organization operated, really. So we wanted to move all our applications to the cloud and make our offices fit for the future. So just remember, this was 2019 now, before the pandemic. We started rolling out laptops to staff. We're using Microsoft Teams. And actually, I think it was in the autumn of 2019, we actually ran training for all our staff on the use of Microsoft Teams. Little did we know how important that would be, and how much we would be reliant on Teams. And of course, by the time we get to March 2020, the pandemic hit. All our offices were closed, like the majority of offices, really, and staff worked from home. We actually completed the planned rollout of IP telephony during that first week of lockdown. It was planned, and unfortunately, it was the first week. At the end of 2020, then we integrated our voice telephony into Teams. The staff were used to using Teams, so having a separate app for telephony didn't really make sense. So we integrated that. At that point, we have no physical telephone lines coming into any of our offices. So when we actually moved at the end of last year from Baltic House in Cardiff Bay to One Canal Parade on Dumbles Road, the move was relatively simple, because we didn't even have to deal with moving any physical lines. As soon as we had internet in the new office, we were operational. So when we go into looking at the new office space and stuff, as I said previously, traditionally, each member of staff would have their own desk, their own personal space, rubbish on the desk. You know what I'm talking about, that sort of setup, really. But when we moved to the new office space, we wanted to change that. So we had probably around 70 staff employed in the South Wales area. Majority of those used to work physically out of the office in Cardiff. And during that time, before the pandemic, we took some time of actually analysing how many people came into the office and what the utilisation was of that office and the desks and stuff. And believe it or not, the figures were well below 50% of desk utilisation. So if you think about it, at any given time, there were probably only half the desks in a big office actually doing anything. So again, when we talk about sustainability, about heating, lighting, electricity, all those things that cost money, and they cost a lot of money then, but with the costs doubled, it's even more important that we were looking at, to reduce our costs. So in our new office, we only have desks, for about 35 people. They're all hot desks. They have USB-C docking monitors, which means the staff don't actually need to take their laptop. They only need to take their laptop into the office. They don't need to take the power supply because the USB-C stuff does all that. We've given them all a locker. We've given them a headset, a wireless keyboard and mouse. So they don't have to share anything. They're responsible for their own kit. There's a clear desk policy. And this also helps with the cleaning regime, because when we started the new office, obviously we were still under some sort of COVID measures, but obviously by people not sharing keyboards and stuff, then the cross-contamination was much less, really. So that's the sort of the office environment that we were working in. And bearing in mind, everything that we run now is in the cloud, so staff can work from home, from a coffee shop. I was going to say a pub, but I better not. Anywhere, in a car, anywhere there's internet, there's a mobile connection, our staff can access exactly the same stuff as they can in the office. And we've had some staff that have gone to visit family abroad and stuff for a long time, and they've been working remotely as well. And obviously it's just as if they're in the office. So in the new office layout, we've got 4 meeting rooms and a collaboration space, all making use of Yealink hardware. Most what you've seen on Mark and Elved's presentation, so the Yealink kit. We've got 2 small rooms, which are ideal for 4 people, and there's 1 screen in there. We've got a larger 8-person room and another which holds 12, and they've both got 2 screens. So obviously, if you're doing a Teams presentation and you're doing something like PowerPoint, you can have PowerPoint on 1 screen, and then you can have the Teams call on another screen. And then the collaboration space is one of the projects that we did. This can hold 20. It's an L-shaped raised seating area. It's got ceiling speakers and microphones in the ceiling, 2 cameras, 1 for the audience and 1 for the speaker. And these can be switched off as and when required. So, the visuals are shown again. We've got the 2 screens, and we could use all this kit for Teams and or Zoom. Mostly our internal stuff is probably Teams. Some of our larger event stuff, especially if we need to use simultaneous translation, will be on Zoom. Although that has been promised to come to Teams, but we still haven't seen a working solution for that yet. So good thing is, staff can book onto these rooms themselves. Each bit of kit has got its own calendar, so they can add them to calendar requests, and they get auto accepted if the room's available. So there's no admin required, which again is quite important, really. We've also got a few huddle pods and less formal huddle areas where staff can catch up as required. The whole office is flooded with Wi-Fi, so they can work wherever. And we've also got a sort of canteen sort of area on a different floor, really. But the main office space, there are different spaces that people can catch up. And we just talked about, how bringing people together is much easier with Teams. So if we think about before the pandemic, we would have probably quarterly staff meetings. Bear in mind, it's a big thing to bring, nearly 100 staff together. So we would probably have no more than quarterly staff meetings. When we went into the pandemic, we started. Just let somebody in. Started having a weekly staff session on a Wednesday at 2:00, and they're on Teams, and we're still currently doing these meetings weekly, because as you know, when you're running an organization, communication is vital, and obviously these team meetings now, people can join them, we record them so they're available afterwards, and we've also brought a bit of fun into them as well, because in last year we started bringing a DJ slot into the sort of the staff meeting. So at the last agenda item really is somebody chooses a song and plays the song. It's a bit of fun as well to into the staff meetings. But communication across WCVA has improved because of these weekly meetings, and that's only possible because of the technology, really, and the desire to have those meetings. But the technology is the key driver. The staff in WCVA are better informed now than they've ever been, and I think that's important. But just to finish off, the hybrid working means the staff can work wherever they want. If they need to join into meetings or get people together, they can do that. The flexibility is there, and that's the thing. And because we're flexible, people can deal with their personal lives better. Do you know what I mean? Personally, I never used to pick up my daughter from school because I was working in an office somewhere. Now I can nip out 5 minutes, pick her up a couple of times a week. It's nice to have some fresh air and away from the screen, but it improves my sort of family life as well. So that's also an important factor, because a happy member of staff and happy at home, happy at work, brings it all together. So that's it from me. Just a little quick story of what we've been up to. Obviously, there is going to be a question and answer session. So I'll just pass it back, I think, to Mark, who's going to control that.
Yeah, perfect. Thank you very much, Rhodri. So I'm just going to share my screen again quickly. Yeah, thank you very much for that. It's great to hear how our solutions are being used, and all the great benefits they bring in. So thank you very much, Rhodri. And I just wanted to end on this slide really. So as part of gofod3, we have got another webinar coming up on Thursday, so at 10 o'clock. And it'll follow on nicely from this one really. So now that you know how to build sustainable modern hybrid meeting spaces, this next one will show how to successfully run them and get the most out of meetings, AGMs and other events. So I'll be discussing some of the important Teams and Zoom features you'll want to be using. And we'll also feature a case study from Carwyn Howells, who will be talking about how she has managed the move to hybrid meetings, and sharing some of her most valuable lessons learned, really. So I've posted the link to register for this one in the chat a few minutes ago, so you can register there, or you can just head over to the gofod3 website then. Either one will work. And yeah, so we'll stop the recording now and give everyone a chance to ask any questions. You've